Hi, my name is Shelley Smith. My husband's Devon Smith, and my sons are PJ and Milo Smith. And today I'm here to tell you about my family. So our family has lived in the Hoopa area for about 2,000 years. And they did not have any contact with non-natives until approximately 1850, which is when the gold rush was happening. And lots of soldiers and miners and settlers were coming into the area, and they really wanted the tribe to move out of the mountain and river areas, which is where my family lived. Some of the tribe lived in the valley, and the idea was, let's have everybody live in the valley. And they created a reservation there and made treaties with those people that lived there, which was part of the same tribe, but my family lived in the mountains, and they did not want to move to the valley, so they fought. And as a result of that, they were able to stay, but they did not have any rights, any fishing rights, any hunting rights, any protections under the law. So generations of living in the same place, but now life being completely different. For me, the most powerful part of our story was my grandma. My great-grandmother had married a settler and had children. He left, the husband left, and so my great-grandmother was left to have to take care of all these children, which she couldn't do. So my grandmother went to Chamawa Indian boarding school, and upon arrival, they would cut her hair and made all of the children, they would wear different clothes that weren't comfortable for them and would punish them if they spoke the language. And my grandmother was only 8 years old at the time. Her mom had to give her children up, and my grandma was the youngest. I think of just as a little girl, how afraid, confused, angry, she must have been. There was something in her that was so strong to want to leave and go home. She persisted to run away. She just kept running away, and eventually they were able to allow her to come back home, but she never wanted to speak the language after that. She just was very ashamed of who she was, her own identity. So my dad did not grow up with all of that information, but yet he was very aware of who he was and that he was Native American, and he was the first one in our tribe that went to college. He became a teacher, and as a teacher, he became an advocate in public schools for Indian education. So there was funding for urban Indian children to learn about Native cultures, and so they had classes, and I was able to benefit by attending these, and we learned different things with beadwork and things with cooking and being able to attend powwows, and that was just really special. And it was great until all my other friends started hearing about what I was doing. Then I started to get made fun of, and I felt really embarrassed and conflicted. I felt very ashamed, and thinking back now, I realize the shame that my grandma felt was tremendously more than the shame that I felt from being teased, but it all came from the same root of just being disrespected as a culture and made to feel like something was wrong. The great thing is, as we grew older, our generation became very curious about who we are and where we came from. And my brother in particular is one of the key people who has worked to find out more and to actually begin revitalizing our culture, our language, our ceremonial practices. And they were able to find native speakers who continued to speak the language and to learn how to speak it. And so he is considered a fluent speaker of Hoopa. He teaches at the high school as a foreign language. The kids can get credit for learning Hoopa. They're beginning to build an elementary school where it will be an immersion school. And they've started a children's program, or it's actually for new moms and infants, where they're teaching the language from infancy up. It looked bleak for a time period that really we could have disappeared. Language, culture, traditions, it's now thriving, and it makes me very proud, and it makes me think about the scripture when God talks about how we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And that I know that there was a time my grandma didn't feel that, and there was a time that I didn't feel that. But it's a truth that I hold on to and that I can look at now and really see and celebrate that in the children that are growing up and the future for our tribe.